300 American soldiers, completely surrounded. No food. No reinforcements. No escape. The snow kept falling. And with it, silence before death. They were trapped in a small Belgian town called Bastogne. Cut off from the entire army. German forces closed in from every direction. Tanks. Artillery. Thousands of troops. The Americans. Outnumbered, cold, exhausted. Some hadn't slept in days. Others had already accepted they wouldn't make it out alive. Then, something unexpected happened. A message arrived from the German command. A simple demand. Surrender, or be destroyed. No bluff. No negotiation. Just a countdown to annihilation. The soldiers looked at each other. No one spoke. Because deep down, they all knew the truth. They were completely alone. And what happened next became one of the most unbelievable moments in war history. They didn't realize it at first. Not fully. At the beginning. It just felt like another position. Another cold morning. Another day in the war. But slowly, things began to change. No reinforcements arrived. No supply trucks. No messages from command. The roads were gone. Cut off. One by one. Every direction they could move disappeared. Then came the truth. They weren't holding a position anymore. They were trapped. Completely surrounded. German forces had closed in from every side. Thousands of soldiers. Artillery units. Tanks hidden beyond the fog. And the worst part, the Americans had no idea how many were out there. Only that it was too many. Far too many. The cold made everything worse. Fingers numb. Weapons freezing. Every breath cutting through the lungs. And still, they had to hold the line. Because there was nowhere left to go. It came without warning. Not an attack. Not an explosion. A message. Delivered through the cold. Carried across the battlefield. A German officer approached under a white flag. Slowly. Carefully. No sudden movements. No weapons raised. The Americans watched in silence. Every eye locked on him. No one knew what this meant. A trap? A trick? Or something else? The officer stopped at a distance. Reached into his coat. And pulled out a paper. The message was simple. Clear. Final. To the American commander. You are surrounded. There is no possibility of escape. To prevent unnecessary destruction. You are requested to surrender immediately. Silence followed. Heavy. Uncomfortable. Because deep down, every soldier already knew. It was true. They were outnumbered. Outgunned. Out of options. And now, they had a choice. Surrender. Or face what came next. The message spread quickly. From one soldier to another. You are surrounded. No escape. Surrender immediately. No one said it out loud. But everyone felt it. This was the end. Inside the command post. The officers read the message again. Slowly. Carefully. Every word carried weight. Outside. The soldiers waited. Cold. Silent. Watching. Hoping for something. Anything. Then the commander looked up. No panic. No hesitation. Just one decision. He took a piece of paper. And wrote a single word. Nothing more. No explanation. No negotiation. Just one word. Nuts. That was the reply. When the message was delivered back, the German officer stood there. confused. He didn't understand. So it was explained to him. Short. Simple. It meant no. And just like that, everything changed. After the answer was sent, there was no going back. No more waiting. No more uncertainty. They had made their choice. And now, they had to live with it. The cold became the real enemy. It wasn't just uncomfortable. It was relentless. The temperature dropped lower each night. Freezing weapons. Freezing hands. Some soldiers could barely feel their fingers. Others couldn't feel their feet at all. Food was running out. Supplies were gone. What little they had, they shared. Carefully. Quietly. No one complained. No one asked for more. Because everyone knew there wasn't enough. Sleep became rare. Short moments between fear and exhaustion. And still, they stayed. Still, they held the line. Because surrender was no longer an option. And survival was all that mattered now. Days passed. But it felt longer. Much longer. Time moved differently. In the cold. Every hour felt like a day. Every night, even worse. The pressure kept building. Not from what they could see, but from what they couldn't. Somewhere beyond the fog, the enemy was waiting. Watching. Preparing. The silence wasn't empty anymore. It was heavy. Like something was about to happen. At any moment. The soldiers stayed alert. Eyes forward. Weapons ready. Even when their bodies begged for rest. No one relaxed. No one felt safe. Because they knew. This couldn't last forever. Something was coming. It had to. And when it did, there would be no time to think. No time to prepare. Only time to react. And in that moment, everything would be decided. Then, it started. Not all at once. Not loudly. At first. Just movement. Somewhere in the distance. Barely visible through the fog. Shadows shifting. Shapes forming. The enemy was moving. Slowly. Carefully. Closing in. The soldiers saw it. Felt it. That quiet moment was over. Every sense sharpened. Every movement mattered. Hands tightened on rifles. Eyes locked forward. No one spoke. No one needed to. Because they all understood. This was it. The moment they had been waiting for. Or fearing. There was no more time. No more space. Only distance between them. And what was coming. And as the fog moved, the shapes became clearer. Closer. Closer. And now, there was no doubt. The fight was about to begin. And then, everything changed. The silence broke. Not with chaos, but with movement. Both sides stood, facing each other. Close enough to see. Close enough to understand. This wasn't distance anymore. This was the line. And no one stepped back. The Americans didn't move. Didn't run. Didn't fall. Even with everything against them. They stayed. Cold. Hungry. Outnumbered. But still standing. Because this was no longer just about survival. It was about holding the line. No matter the cost. No matter the outcome. Every second felt longer. Every moment heavier. But they didn't break. They didn't leave. And in that moment, something became clear. They weren't just surrounded. They were unshaken. And just when it felt like they couldn't hold any longer, something changed. At first, it was distant. A sound. Faint. Unclear. Then, another. And another. The soldiers looked up. Not toward the enemy, but beyond. Through the fog. Through the cold air. Something was coming. Not from them. From behind. Reinforcements. At last. The sound grew louder. Stronger. Closer. Engines. Movement. Hope. What once felt like the end wasn't the end at all. The line didn't break. Because they held it. Long enough. Long enough for help to arrive. And in that moment, everything shifted. Not just on the battlefield, but inside them. Because they knew. They made it. The battle didn't end that day. Not completely. But something had changed. The impossible didn't happen. Because they didn't let it happen. They were surrounded. Outnumbered. Outgunned. And still, they stood. Not because it was easy. Not because they weren't afraid. But because they chose to stay. They chose not to break. Not to surrender. Not to walk away. And that choice changed everything. Bastogne didn't fall. The line didn't collapse. Because a small group of soldiers held it together. Through the cold. Through the fear. Through the impossible. And long after the battle was over, that moment remained. A reminder that sometimes it's not numbers that decide the outcome. It's the people who refuse to give up.